Hello and welcome back to the Murdoch route of the smoke room. So this is the conclusion of the current update, so it's not the conclusion of Murdoch's route yet. I believe that this ends up being more of the climax, or leading up to the climax of the story. But yeah, so in the previous part, I guess, the town went up in flames. They had to escape. Thankfully, Samuel was able to get the money in order to convince Blithe to guide them through the tromping grounds to the school, where they are hopefully going to be able to find shelter, and Murdoch will hopefully be able to find his sister, Dahlia. If you recall, Dahlia also has some, I guess you could call it information, or has some theories herself about what is going on. So if we find her, perhaps we might be able to get a little bit more information again about the whole hysteria and how to stay safe, but I believe it's more to put Murdoch at ease. I don't remember exactly, but I recall in the Nikolai route that by the end of it, they mentioned that the Burns family isn't doing so well, and I kind of feel like perhaps, I mean, since the town is going up in flames, that means that the store goes up in flames. And with how stressed out Murdoch is, and with the fact that Gretchen Burns, which is the mom, and the dad have not shown up, that perhaps bad things are going to happen to the family. So it's imperative that we at least find Dahlia. We know that the grandma and Holly are currently at the Burns house, so I mean they're technically safe. So, as far as we're aware of. So another thing that happened though is that something seems to have crawled out of Samuel's head. And that's something that I didn't mention in the previous video, but I believe that it has something to do with another scene that you would see in the Nikolai route that perhaps might be a recurring theme throughout the routes, in which the thing that crawled out of Samuel did so because it's afraid of the spider monster. Why? Because again, that's something that happens in the Samuel route. I don't believe that I covered it though, because I was trying to do Nikolai's good route, but I did do the ending that technically is the bad route. But yeah, spoilers, is basically when you're confronting the golden retriever in the mines and the spider shows up, the spider decides to go after Samuel, and when Samuel is having like a dream or something like that, the voice is speaking to Samuel, and it's taking like several different shapes, but it's basically scared and wanting to leave, and eventually the spider monster takes something from Sam, and it kind of more or less rips the voice out of Samuel. So I think the voice that is inside of Samuel's head, the shadow, whatever you might want to call it, is like, nope, I'm coming into these tunnels because I know what's in here, so I'm gonna bounce. And it like leaked out of Samuel's head. So yeah. Anywho, so yeah, they're at the school, and hopefully they're gonna be able to find some shelter there. But you know. Anyways, but yeah, so without further ado, let us finish out this update for Murdoch. And then I see the sky. The stars look a little brighter than usual. But for some reason, that does not give me comfort. Normally, when I leave that godforsaken place, relief washes over me like a peaceful water. These stars just feel like they're staring at me, pointing down with their cold, dead light. Jesus, what happened? Looks like he could have scraped the edge of a stalagmite. Stalactite. What? If it's bound tightly to the ceiling, it's a stalactite. Nobody fucking cares, Jim. The wound doesn't look so deep. Looks like he had some stitches there that might have come loose if he bumped against anything. Now y'all see why I don't want to go through those fucking tunnels again? If he would have just walked a little slower, he might have not have bumped his head. Yeah, sure. That's what happened. Shit. I really am bleeding. I'm fine now. I know I didn't hit anything. If anything, the pain came from inside of me. Maybe it was just a stitch healing wrong. I keep the bottle of alcohol I had handy. Could one of you, sure. Murdoch takes it. He presses a white kerchief to my head. It stings. Fuck. At least we made it to the school. Jim was right. There's not much smoke here. Judging by the lights, nobody here either. It was a good idea, Jim. Thank you. Thanks, Sam, not me. I would have gone straight for the tracks, smoke or no smoke. Would he have? Something gives me the impression otherwise, but I suppose I can't be sure. Now that we're outside an impenetrable fortress, all we have to do is find a way inside. I have a key. I also have a key. Makes me wonder why I don't have a bloody key. Let's not wait outside any longer than we have to, then. Murdoch plucks something from his pocket. It's a large ring of many keys. He loops through each of them, revolving each piece until he comes to a stop at one molded into a metallic vines and thorns. He puts the key into the socket beneath the large lock. Then he twists it, prompting a loud hollow thud. And there we go. Shall we? We pour into the front lobby as Murdoch holds the door open for us. Everything in the school looks much older at night, just from the dim yellow light of the wall sconces. Faces of students draped in medals stare back at us from the fine glass case where bronze trophies shine with so much polish that they almost look freshly wet. We should do a body check, shouldn't we? Yeah, hold on. There's me, Murdoch, and Ralph. There's Blithe and Melissa. Cynthia and now Lucy, too. Then Jim, Reuben, and Neil. That's everybody, then. Melissa slowly peeks her head around an archway, looking left and then looking right. It's so quiet here at night. The wood in the upper floor creaks, almost as if to jinx it. Do you really think that we're alone here, Mr. Ayers? Don't know. We were hoping to find somebody. Look over here. Jim is standing by the radiator. Somebody turned on the heat. I don't imagine the school would need such a thing in the middle of the day. Somebody's definitely here. You think it's Dahlia, Sam? Could be. Could be somebody else, just as well. We should stake out our perimeter. Don't you think that there might be trouble if we run into them? Technically speaking, we are the trespassers. I should think not. This is a public institution. We have the right to seek aid and hold Congress in a time of crisis. Still, it wouldn't hurt to introduce ourselves if it's just the groundskeeper. Poor bastard might not even know what's going on downtown. We'd cover ground quicker if we split into pairs or triads. Shouldn't we stay together? The school ain't that big, Mr. Ayers. Nobody can get lost, and if something happens, we'd hear it. No, I think Sam has a point. It's still worth it to have a base group in the center of the hall, just in case we have trouble at the front door. Jim clears his throat. What do you think, Neil? You've had experiences with town hall lockdowns before, right? The dog nods stiffly. Anybody with a weapon or body strength would be best suited to the center. I have some experience in self-defense, so I volunteer to stay here. I have a bloody firearm, so I also volunteer to stay here. I'll scout. Reuben looks mildly surprised while Neil nods stiffly. I don't think that I am much good in a brawl. I think that I'd like to go too. I know the school awfully well, and I'd like to think that there's something that I could find that's helpful. There are some things that I'd like to see as well. Don't you have a firearm, miss? I do. My friend just said manning the front of the school with firearms would be prudent. Sorry. I don't much listen to out-of-towners. Well, that's that then. Who's setting off first? Murdoch tugs my sleeve. You'll help me look for Dahlia, won't you? Okay, but I don't think that'll be much help on myself. Why don't we look in places with the right people? We can learn more the more eyeballs we have following us around. He says that like it's no big deal. But even as I stand beside him and my forearm brushes his, I can feel his whole heart pounding in his chest. As calm as it is inside the school, he knows that we're running out of time. But what else can we learn to defend ourselves, even now at this point? There's gotta be something. Or maybe with the right someone. Who do I go with first? I kind of already know more or less. But we're gonna pick Jim. I think he probably knows more than he's letting on. At least when it comes to the technical construction of the school. Not to mention, if we find any dirt on Holly, he'd be the best to talk to. Will you come with us, Jim? Really? Surely Holly talked to you about her job. You know we'd be safe from the fire and smoke here too. It was common sense. No, I don't think it was. Well, whatever. You can lead the way. And we're actually going to go to Holly's classroom. Most of the classrooms for the older students, like the library, are on the second floor. But there's a particular classroom that I think that would be the best to visit. Sam, which way are you going? I walk for a bit before I answer him. I think you know which way I'm going. I don't think Dahlia is going to be in Holly's classroom. Didn't say that I think that she'd be either. Doesn't mean that I don't think to check it though. Murdoch doesn't respond. When we get to the door on the corner building, I step out of the way. Unlock it. We hear somebody else walk into the room. Sorry to intrude, but I heard where you were going. I thought that it would be a good idea to join you. The more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. We all take a look at Holly's classroom. We can see every corner of it, so we know nobody's here. After all, classrooms are designed to see every kid at once, ain't they? Now that I'm here, I remember. I didn't realize that this was her room. Care to share what you mean? This was our arithmetic class when we were students. It's where we started dating. How sweet. It's also where our teacher had a heart attack. Wait, I remember that. Oscar Merriman, age 54. He died during your class, didn't he? Well, not instantly. But yes. He wasn't popular, but most of us weren't really prepared to see a grown man die in front of us. I wouldn't feel comfortable sitting in his chair. While they're talking, I stride up to the platform where Holly's desk is. I start opening every compartment that I can find. Books, pens, papers. It's usual shit that you'd expect a teacher to have. There is a padlock at the center compartment. I fumble with it, seeing if I can just tear it off, but the metal is secure and the wood is thick. Any of y'all know how to break into a padlock? Ralph walks up. Is it a key or a combination lock? It's numbers. Let me test something. He scoots me aside and puts his paws on the dial. I see him turn the dial, stop, then change the directions. One of the numbers he stops on is 4, but I don't catch the rest. When he finishes, there is a soft click. The lock is undone. How the hell did you do that on the first try? I just had a hunch. He removes the lock, then pulls open the drawer. There is a quartz bracelet, a metal casting of 5-pointed bronze star, a large manila envelope. Ralph plucks out the strip of film negative, then a larger photo. His expression sours as he glances over to Murdoch, then to Jim. I shouldn't be surprised that he's a biter. Those aren't... Ralph roughly pushes the folder into Jim's chest. Enjoy your freedom. I need to go wash my eyes out. Jim puts his paws inside the envelope, pulls out its contents, and then checks through everything. I thought that she had made 3 and gave out 3. I shrug. She lied about something. No, look. There's an address on the corner. The name says Porter Moore. She hadn't sent it. I take a look at the picture. In spite of what they mean, they're staged quite nicely. Both of them look like they're pretty happy. Who's got a lighter? Mine's out of fuel. Murdoch takes his out of his pocket and sets it on the table. Jim picks it up without hesitation and flicks the flame. He holds it to the negatives and then they sizzle and shrivel as quick as burning fur. There. It's done. Jim is about to walk out of the room before Murdoch calls for him. Wait, Jim. The picture too. Jim turns, then holds up the photo. It really is a nice picture, isn't it? Jim. Burn the picture. He stares at it again. I'd like to keep this. No. He shifts his weight, still looking down at the piece of paper in front of him. I promise that I won't let it fall into the wrong hands. Are you joking? I let out a long, raspy sigh. Please. Okay, he's been asked enough. Burn it, Jim. He looks at the photograph again. Then the lighter on the table. What else does he expect to do? Run? That would be insane. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't tackle him to the floor if it comes to it. Thankfully, he walks forward. He holds the photo up, waving it. Then he takes a lighter, flicking it to catch. Starting from the corner, he lets the little flame lick the sides, growing until it doesn't have to keep the lighter going anymore. The image entirely shrivels, turning into ash. Once the entire photograph is destroyed, he snuffs out the embers with the envelope. Now you can't say that I never cared. Then he turns. That's all that I needed to see. Thank you, Jim. He only stops walking for a moment. Then he's gone from our view. That could have gone a whole lot worse, a whole lot faster than I was prepared for it to go. Murdoch chuckles. At least it's over. You know, it really wasn't a bad picture. It was ruined by the circumstance. If we all get out of this, maybe there can be new pictures. And if not, I can do better things for him than a picture. He looks at the ashes again. That piece can go straight to hell where it belongs. I should check out how people are doing. Let's check Jim. Jim is off to his own. He's looking at one of the cases. It's a picture of himself when he was younger. There were a few other boys, all in tank tops and headbands, sitting around a boat, some holding oars. I hadn't realized that you went to school here. One generally does when there's just one school in your area. I thought you didn't live here growing up. There was about half a century where the lake house was just the house. Mother preferred the ancestral home on the East Coast. Father's mistress preferred the lake house. Well, damn. That's tough. It was something of an open secret. The fact that I lived at the lake house should tell you enough about my mother's mental state. As well as the other woman. I bet your mother's family hated her. On the contrary, they preferred her disposition to their own daughters. Everybody did, really. I'm sorry to hear. He scoffs. This isn't a sob story, Mr. Ayers. I had a happy childhood. If a logistically complicated one. I look at the photograph again, then notice the medals in the case are the same. Good to know that you've always been a winner then. The competition wasn't fierce. And humble, too. Jim rolls his eyes. It's easy to excel when you're expected to. He squints at the photograph. But it's much harder to look at a photograph of yourself and think that it could have easily been somebody else's life. It wasn't that long ago, was it? I remember doing it fine. I just have to ask myself. He looks again. Who were those other boys? With a face that happy, you'd assume that they were best friends. Yet, I don't remember their names. That's okay. I've done way more for men than make them smile, and I don't know most of their names either. Jim's lips tighten. Perhaps that's just my toll for being so self-interested. Or perhaps this place really is cursed. The least that they could have done was engrave our names on our medals. He's crouching, looking at the other displays. I'll leave him to his pondering. We're actually going to pick Jim again. We're going to go to the auditorium. We don't have to walk very far to get to the entrance to the auditorium. The double doors creak with a wheezy little whine as we slip into the giant room. It doesn't seem too long ago when we were just in here for picture day. Well, it was less than a week ago. You think somebody's hiding in here? Big enough, ain't it? There's the stage, the rows of chairs, and the curtains behind the stage. But that's only if there's a reason to hide. It suddenly occurs to me just how many rows of chairs there are in this room. If somebody was hiding on the floor, if they timed it right, they could cut our heels with something sharp. They cut our tendons, we'd be bleeding on the floor, helpless. I lower my voice to a whisper. I think we should avoid walking down the center row. Oh? Against the wall is probably safe. Let's stay together too. Okay. As we come to the first row of chairs, I'm suddenly aware of how wide the gaps between each set are. So I'm inclined to hop rather than stroll my way past those openings. What are you doing, Mr. Ayers? Jumping. There's better places for somebody to ambush you than in the floor. This row's clear. Are you listening? He's just playing it safe. I can't see Jim roll his eyes, but I can hear it in the heaviness of his sigh. They would have an easier time just shooting him from behind the curtain with the noise that he's making. I ignore him and keep hopping. I hop until the floor is clear, and then I know nobody is hiding there. The rows are secure. Anywhere else that they could ambush us, Jim? Check the curtains. Then we'll talk. I get on the stage and then hold my finger. I use my left leg to pivot, so the moment that I swing forward to look, I'll already be swinging my way backward. That way, if there's somebody looking back, I'll be able to slip away easier. I ready my pivot. Then swing forward. And look. Just an empty stage to the left. I hear my heart pounding inside my chest in spite of everything. Now for the other side. I walk as quietly as I can. Then I punch the curtain as hard as I can. Still nobody there. Mr. Ayers? I shush him again. If he wants to complain about how I'm doing things, then he can be the first person to check out dangerous places. I prepare the pivot again. Then I make the plunge. Nobody's on the other side either. All right, the curtains are clear. Good to know. Anyway, the best place to ambush somebody from in the audience is from below the stage. How do you know that, Jim? Because the auditorium had to be built into the ground. Without the proper guidelines, it would be vulnerable to subsidence. So, there was some digging and some permits to procure. Tug the white wire on the floor for the trapdoor if you don't believe me. I look down. There is a white wire, like he said. It's probably safe, considering neither of us have been gunned down already. Take a look. As unfunny as I find his humor, I tug on the rope. The whole portion of the floor lifts, exposing the wooden ladder. It doesn't look that deep. Once I'm down, the hole I can barely stand. There's a rope, sacks, and also somebody staring back at me. I run to the ladder before they can chase towards me until I realize that I'm running in parallel. It's just a fucking mirror. God, I hate this place. I bet with a lantern and a few candles it could be cozy. Murdoch's head is staring at me, his muzzle poking through the hole facing the audience. Why the fuck is there a mirror down here? There's lots of fun tricks that you can do with projections. Great for plays. You should have warned me. I doubt knowing would have made it less scary. All right, I'm getting out. I make my way to the ladder and pause again. There is a door at the end of the stage and it's slightly ajar. It's too dark to see from here what's in it. Once I get to the top, I lift the hatch of the trapdoor again, closing it behind me. So what's the door for down there? Hell if I know. Probably just another closet if I had to guess. That didn't seem entirely right to me, but it wasn't like I was going to argue about it. I think it's safe to say that there's nobody here. Unless they're an expert at camouflage, I agree. Let's head back. So let's check on Cynthia. Cynthia and Lucy are sitting on the floor together. I take some time to rest my legs and sit with them. So, how are y'all holding up? Cynthia lets out a long exhale that turns into a raspberry. About as good as one can, I suppose. Tonight has been a bit much. I don't have the energy to dwell on it right now, if I'm being honest. Lucy nods. Ah, heaven sent those words and a kindness. I'm just grateful to be here. But it's hard not to worry about the madam. Don't you mean Scarlet? They both say no at the same time. I don't think anything could kill her. She's got island powers. After everything that she's been through, I reckon that she'd be embarrassed to put Perish to Flames on her tombstone if that's what does her in. She'd hate that coroner, I tell you that she would. They sound more regular than I thought they would. I suppose that's good. I've never been much good at giving people comfort when they need it. But perhaps the time for comfort comes later. We're still in the middle of this. Whatever it is. I've rested my legs long enough for now. I am not entirely sure if this is going to trigger properly, and as you can probably guess by now, you kind of have to take specific people to specific places to have certain conversations pop up. So I'm going to try to take Melissa. If we run into anybody dangerous, she'll probably know what they sound like. She might be the most important person in this group right now. Miss Boyk? Mr. Ayers? Do you think that you can help us look through some of the areas in the school? Well, sure. So long as I don't have to go by myself. Where to? We're gonna go to the basement. I see a door with an arrow pointing downward over it. What's down there? That's mostly just for storage, plus the boiler room. It's not likely anybody would be down there. The door to the cellar looks older than anything here. There's scratches on the surface and the metal looks like it's starting to rust. It's the kind of door that looks like it would make your skin below your fur itch if you touched it. How do you figure? Well, for one, the thing is locked. I have a key, but if I have to use it, I doubt that there's somebody down there who shouldn't be. Echo's full of people in places where they shouldn't be. Regardless of my warnings, he plucks the ring of keys from his pocket, looping through a series. The key he stops on is very plain and very dark, almost like it survived a fire and the surface was crusted over with irregularities. It takes him a while to get to the key into the socket, then to turn the latch. He struggles with the door, grunting. Shit. This is tight. A few people turn their heads to watch him. I don't bother commenting. Eventually, the metal door budges, giving way. You can tell nobody has been down here in a good while. The stairs are remarkably narrow and descend into the darkness. I don't imagine that there is a light switch. No, they never bothered. There's a lamp at the bottom. I lean against the wall as I struggle to get down, barely able to see what's in front of me. Then I hear the sound of the lamp switch. The smell of the old boxes and mildew hits me hard. I barely have room to walk considering the clutter. Like I said, probably nobody down here. Plenty of places to hide though. There was a loud metallic clicking. What's that? That's probably the incinerator. Y'all have a furnace down here? An inactive one, as you can see from all the mess. Otherwise, these boxes would be long gone. Mr. Ayers? The little rabbit tugs my shirt. Yes? I don't much like it down here. It smells off, and it's hard to breathe. You can go back upstairs if you're having problems. No, I think I'll stay. Well, make up your damn mind. There's something weird in the corner over there. She's pointing to a row of shelves. What, books? Yeah, look. Big old stacks of Willie Shakespeare. That's so queer. He probably wouldn't be happy hearing you talk about him like that if he was still alive. Huh? No, I'm not talking about him. I'm saying that it's queer that there's a whole collection of his stuff down here. We never had enough books. We had to share. Be careful with those, they might be full of mold. Well, let's just see. She pulls out a book from the shelf, and then she stares at it as if it's some strange egg in her hand that's about to hatch. What the? She flips the book over, attempting to open the pages by holding the spine and flapping it around with one paw. This thing won't open. It dawns on me now that a girl that scrawny had trouble holding up and waving a book around like that. Let me see the book. I tap on it like it's a vegetable. This thing's hollow. What? How do you figure? Check yourself. More hollow than a carved gourd in autumn. Her face screws up. You mean like a pumpkin? That's the same thing. She looks away and takes a breath. If you say so. She plucks another book from the shelf and knocks on it. Hey, this one sounds hollow too. Sam? Murdoch sounds quiet. There's a bit of an edge to his voice now. And here's another one. Don't you think that we've checked this long enough? And another one. Melissa's grinning ear to ear, throwing the false books behind her to the floor. She's probably never had permission to be in this part of the school, much less the tact permission to tear up the whole shelf. It's clear to me that she's having the time of her life. Murdoch speaks again a little more hastily. There's obviously nobody down here. Yeah, you're probably... It's suddenly clear to me that the sound of Melissa's giggling and rifling have totally stopped. She's just staring at the wall. Arms flat to her sides. Silent. She turns her head to look at us, eyes wide, and mouths something. I can hear him, is what she's saying. I look to Murdoch, trying to feel for what he's making out of this. But his ears are splayed back, as if he's on high alert. Slowly he grabs the rabbit's paw, walks her backwards, then to the stairs. Get the light, then follow, he mouths to me. I'm still not entirely sure why we're being so quiet all of a sudden. But I get the light. Then I see the orange glow of what might be candlelight on the other side of the bookshelf. Somebody's voice on the other side of it coughs, then mumbles. Then I understand now that it's time to go. I don't see anybody, but I can't shake the feeling that somebody's following me now that the lights are off. The first 2 steps that I reach up the stairs are quiet, but my heart beats faster, and my walk backwards turns into a trot, then a run. When we reach the top of the stairs, Murdoch wastes no time retrieving the keyring from his coat. As I look into the black, I don't know how, but I know somebody is staring up at me from the bottom of the stairs. Close the door, Murdoch. I hear the bottom step creak. I said close the door! As he slams it, I catch the scuttling sound of somebody run up towards us. The key slides in, and I put my paw over his to help him lock it. It clicks. I expect to hear a sudden pounding or something worse on the other side of the door. But somehow the sound of nothing is worse. Like the idea that there's somebody on the other side of the door just standing there, breathing. Something wrong? Reuben, Neil, and Cynthia are walking over to us. Miss Boyk, you look terrified. I heard him. She mutters the same phrase a few times, wringing her hands. I heard him. There's somebody in the cellar then? By the door, I think. Everybody turns to stare. Why not open it? We have guns. That door locks from only one side, so I don't think we have to worry. Neil's glaring at the door. Who's worried here? I still say we face him. I favor something of an easier approach. Let the bastard speak and come to us on his own terms, or simply let him rot. Let's take a small break before we cover the next area, all right, Sam? I was just about to suggest the same thing. Well, they're not alone. Hey. Oh. Hello, Mr. Ayers. You can call me Sam if you want. That's too familiar, Mr. Ayers. I just wanted to make sure that you're doing all right. Can't be easy going through what you've been through. Well, didn't you see it? No.
Blithe said that you were there. I saw you there.
Nope. I just had a weird dream.
How can people have the same dream? Especially when somebody's awake.
Weird gases. Mine's full of them, you know.
That don't make no sense at all. You're full of weird gases.
Ew.
Anyway, maybe you should worry about yourself more than you worry about me.
I scratch the back of my head. It still stings. Now why's that? She glances at my wound.
I saw it coming out of you.
I feel my brow furrow something fierce. What are you talking about?
The big shadow. It had red eyes, like you. At least, I thought that it did until I noticed that the eyes were a different color.
What color?
It wasn't like something that I had seen before. I can't say that it was red. But I can't say that it wasn't red either. I don't know.
I see. Well, thanks, Melissa.
Yes, Mr. Ayers.
What the hell? Well, looks like I unlocked Blithe. So this is actually uncharted territory for me. Well, actually not completely. I do remember that you can still take, I think, Ralph to the auditorium. Could you help us check on some things, Ralph? Sure, but I would probably spend more time watching Murdoch staring at you than anything else. You really don't look so good. I've been worse. No doubt, but come on. There's going to be something else that happens in the auditorium. There's going to be something else that happens in the auditorium. It doesn't take much time at all to get back to the auditorium. It's just as dark and lonely and cavernous as before. I could have sworn that the curtains were in a different position the last time that we were here, but my memory ain't exactly working too good today. Do you really think that it's necessary? I can feel the muscles on my face morphing into a scowl. Then I hop. Do y'all think that I'd be doing this if I didn't think that it was necessary? Row clear. Would you like to go ahead of me, Ralph? Well, not particularly. I jump again. Then I look to the left. Nothing again. Row clear. So what exactly is your plan if the row isn't clear? Don't you have a knife? I do. Another hop. Another glance. Row clear. I see somebody on the floor. No. Something. I see somebody's eyes and smiling teeth shine back at me from the cracked, burned skin. Then I just see a coat. One of the ones Murdoch's mom had him wear for picture day. I hear a click behind me. Ralph has his knife open and out. He's looking where I'm looking. Then he closes it with a snap. Just a little scare, Yeah. That's not what I saw. Lord knows that I'd be terrified of those if I were socks over here. How'd that get down here? Those are usually in the closet. Maybe some of the kids were playing dress up. Unless there's anybody else you know your size. Just my dad. The waist height, I mean. I would have interrupted the small talk if I wasn't still shaking. Every part of my body feels awake right now. Can we just check behind the curtains and get out of here? What happened to safety, Sam? I don't feel safe standing still in the place much longer is all I'm gonna say. Murdoch puts a sympathetic paw on my shoulder as Ralph looks on with skepticism. You get the left curtain and I'll get the right, Ralph. The two of them walk to the front of the stage and I stay close behind, watching the rows. I feel a little better once we clear the last one and Murdoch and Ralph are on the stage. Look in 3, 2, 1. They both look. Nothing. Nothing as well. Let's get out of here, shall we? He's looking at me with a small smile. I'm not used to somebody paying this much attention to what bothers me without speaking up about it. It's a little bit eerie, but it also feels nice. Yeah, let's go. Let's check on Ralph. Ralph is standing by a window. He inhales a cigarette, then exhales. You good? The rat gives me a tired expression. I knew something like this was going to happen for a while. All I have to blame is myself for not getting out earlier. I have much less room to complain than somebody like you. He takes another hit of the cigarette. Whatever. So once you're out, this time you're leaving town for good? Not much of a town to come back to, is there? At this point, I've decided that no force in heaven or hell can stop me from getting out. If the general store and our apartment aren't burned to the ground or looted by the end of the week, I might pick up some things. But I could just cut my losses. I have savings elsewhere. What about your piano? Fuck the piano. I want to live. He still doesn't look happy about it when he says that. I should leave him alone for now. I'm actually going to take Blithe. Would you mind coming with us, Miss Washington? If I said I did, would it much matter? No. I figured. Something I ought to stop forgetting in spite of her behavior. This girl is smart. She was an astronomy student, wasn't she? I kind of feel like we should take her to Holly's classroom. Not Holly's, the library, I mean. We could take her to the basement and she'll probably shoot the person. Like, I don't think that that's what we're supposed to do. The library is on the second floor. Once again, we have to ascend the old brick staircase before we can get to the hallways with the classrooms. Behind the glass wall, the library looks dark and empty. I try to open the door to see if anybody has left it unlocked, but it isn't. It doesn't feel like anybody is around. Shit. She's not here, is she? We should still look around. Murdoch nods and fishes out the ring of keys from his pocket. The library key is slim and spindly. He sticks it through the keyhole and opens it with ease. Inside, there are walls and walls of aisles of books. It wouldn't be hard for somebody to hide here at all, but why would they? I couldn't figure. I suppose a little bit of reading could help hold you over for the end of the world. I get hungry pretty fast, though, locking myself away in the library. You look scared, Mr. Ayers. That's an odd kind of attitude to have in a library. I roll my neck just to calm myself down. You'd be surprised what sorts of things people can get away with in a library. Tall stacks. Easy public access. Sounds like I don't really want to know. They're just an easy place to ambush somebody, is all I'm saying. And here I thought you were just terrified to read. I'd read more if I had the time. That's what they all say. Besides, the good book has plenty to say. God damn, you are boring. Anyways, we just passed the last stack, so there's no need to be scared now. This is bad. What's bad? Dahlia might not be here. Who? My sister. Oh. You mean the little Miss Burns? You know who I meant. No, sorry. It's a force of habit, considering you get the switch when you call an adult by their first name in most circumstances. Murdoch sounds more than a little winded. I'm sorry. I shouldn't raise my voice. I understand. He staggers a bit before leaning against the wall. Truth be told, I'm not feeling so well. We've been moving around a lot. You need water or something? He wipes his forehead. No, just some time to myself, I think. There's something that I ought to do and I'll be fine. You haven't seen my associate nearby, have you? The tall rat? The Miss Titmouse-looking man? I saw him puttering about the lobby a few minutes ago. Thanks. The fox starts wandering towards the exit, looking a bit off balance. I'll be back in a little while. Please watch over one another. Hey, I didn't... Gone already. Remind you of anybody? I am not like Mr. Burns. I know how to use a weapon. So might he. Oh, come on. Just look at him. I look at him plenty. Never fucking mind. He's just out of it because he's worried about his sister.
I can see that being part of it.
Huh?
I've seen that kind of daze come over my pa before. Anyway, if she's anywhere, I'm surprised that you haven't checked the observatory first.
You know better than me how tight it's locked down. I think we're hoping to catch her coming out for a break. But if she hasn't by now, she's probably not here.
You have a key?
Would we be having this conversation if I did?
Let me rephrase. Do you need a key?
Yes.
Promise not to snitch?
Who would I even tell?
Okay. I've only done this once.
She walks over to the metal door. She jiggles the handle a bit. It takes her a while to do whatever it is that she's doing. The door comes loose. Whoa.
It takes a while to get in even if you know the latch is funky. But try this in the middle of the day and anybody will catch you.
How did you find this out to begin with?
Because Miss Burns told me. I'm surprised that she didn't tell you considering she let you in the observatory. The trapdoor doesn't lock, so just pull the string and you'll be free to take a look.
Thank you, Miss Washington. She takes a step backwards.
Don't thank me until you find her.
She pauses, as if deciding to keep talking or not.
She knew things that she wasn't allowed to say. I'm a bit worried about her as well. Then again, it's not possible to save everybody, ain't it?
She lets go of the open door and takes a step back.
It's been a while since I've checked on Melissa, so I'm gonna go do that.
She pauses again.
Good luck. And be real careful about what you might hear.
Miss Washington leaves me in the little room with the dangling cord. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen when I pull it. I wrap my paws around it, then tug, and open it without a fuss. The wooden latch unfolds with a metallic groan. I grip the wood, making my first step up, and it squeaks beneath me, bearing my weight. So I climb, one paw after the other, not sure what I'm going to see when I get to the top. I feel that terrible sense your body goes through when you force it into cramped spaces. That feeling of dread isn't new, but I can't help but feel that it gets worse the higher that I go up. When I look above, I don't see the ceiling. Instead, I see the stars shine down on me through the red, flame-touched sky. The observatory is open. That means that it's being used. When I lift myself through the space onto the observatory floor, I don't see any lights. But there's definitely somebody moving.
Mr. Ayers?
I still can't see her body clearly, but I can see the reflection of the light from her glasses looking my way. Miss Burns? I can't see her eyes, but I can feel her stare.
How did you get up here?
The door was loose.
How to fix that?
My eyes begin to adjust to the dark. I can see now that she's standing by the telescope with the clipboard, a pencil tucked beneath her ear. She tilts her head up, taking a look into the eyepiece.
Why are you here?
It would be a fairer question if it weren't for the state of everything. Murdoch's been turning over every rock in creation for you. Don't you have any idea what's going on outside? She doesn't speak for a while.
I do.
She plucks the pencil from behind her ear, still looking into the telescope as she writes something down with one paw.
That's why I'm here. Few forces in this world would make me skip my sister's wedding. But this was one such case.
She puts both of her eyes to the telescope.
670,616,629 million per second.
I blink. Excuse me?
That's how fast every speck of light travels to activate all the rods and cones inside of your eyeball. The neurons in your eye transfer these signals to your brain. Your brain computes these particle signals into its organic shapes and colors, which architects the entire makeup of your visual reality. Light can travel for millions, billions, and even trillions of miles, an equivalent measurement of years to reach our planet from the most distant stars.
What are you talking about, Miss Burns? She pulls away from her telescope, takes off her glasses, and starts to polish them.
I'm inviting you, Mr. Ayers, to think about the nature of light, since you're here disrupting my work. We still don't know much about it. Do you know what diffractions is, Mr. Ayers?
No.
She nods with a thin smile. It's when the nature of waves change when they hit a barrier.
She's rambling like somebody who's lost her mind. I just want to pick her up and take her to her brother to make her start making sense, but I get the feeling that she wouldn't go without a fight.
Think about the waves that you see on Lake Emma. Then think about how they change when they run into a buoy. It's believed that shapes of the waves change as it spreads. It behaves different. And then it touches everything that it can. Ripple affecting ripple. Crest affecting crest. Do you follow what I'm saying yet, Mr. Ayers?
My paw is placed on my head at this point. I really am sorry, Mrs. Burns, but I think this is all above my head.
That's no problem. Did you also know that a star can die, Mr. Ayers?
I didn't think that they were supposed to be alive.
They can explode. Or implode. They disappear from the sky or leave something else in their wake. Most of the stars we see in the sky are likely already dead. But their light takes so long to reach us that we'd never even know. But there are some things that they can't do. I see Kelper's star tonight, Mr. Ayers.
She giggles. It's not a happy giggle, but there is a lot of energy behind it.
Do you know what that means?
I'm sorry. I don't.
Of course you don't.
I know that I'm ignorant of all of this, but your brother is worried sick.
Well, of course he is. He should be.
What the fuck? Why don't you just step away from the telescope for just a moment and show him your face? She sighs.
Because I am the only one who can do what I am doing, Mr. Ayers. If I step away for even a moment, I can miss something, and that's one sliver of data the future won't have.
But what are you doing?
I'm counting corpses. The sky is not my sky, Mr. Ayers, and nor is it yours. Now, I want you to listen to me very carefully.
She pulls a watch from her pocket and checks the time.
As of 7:39 p.m., I count more celestial bodies in the heavens than I would care to say. If you just had to guess how many you think that I might have found, what would you say to me?
Okay, so you get 3 choices, or 3 chances, I mean. But, I may or may not know the answer now. There's actually 2 answers.
Maybe things won't be so hopeless after all.
She tears out a piece of paper from her clipboard, hands it to me, then gives me her pencil.
Write down these words, exactly as I say them.
Okay.
There is Canis Major and Canis Minor. Orion has a belt. Its handle is Polaris. He is God's brightest angel. Repeat it back to me.
There is Canis Major and Canis Minor.
Good.
Orion has a belt.
Yes.
Its handle is Polaris.
Yes.
He is God's brightest angel.
And his cruelest.
She tears the paper off the pad and presses it to my chest.
I can speak more plainly about my hypothesis on light.
She walks over to the wall and pulls out a chair near a desk, then sits on it from behind.
I think that when we are buffeted with trillion-year-old light from the deepest, oldest, most alien parts of the universe, light which exists on a frequency which in many ways, moves and vibrates in such a way that is much, much faster than our own ability to perceive. Then we are ill-equipped to discern how it behaves in a new kind of medium it has not traveled through before. I believe such a medium pervades this patch of Earth. Long before the first Hendrix planted his seed here.
She puts her glasses back on her face. I think I'm starting to follow what she's saying, though the rocks feel like they're tumbling inside of my head. My wound throbs even as I try to think. When you say medium, does that mean a barrier, like the buoy for the waves on Lake Emma? That would be the case. I think about all those rocks that I keep finding in Holly's personal space. I'm not sure how to phrase what I want to ask. Do you mean a medium like quartz? The fox looks unamused. Quartz is one of the most abundant minerals in the universe, Mr. Ayers. My sister hasn't been giving you ideas, has she? I haven't felt as stupid talking to another person in a very long time. Our planet has rare elements far more unique than birthstones. I hope that you posture on what I mean by that, but I won't be discussing the subject any further. There are too many things up in the heavens that we will never understand. And there are just as many secrets in the hearts of a family. I choose to investigate the ones where I think that I can do good for the future. She rises from her chair. If you must know, I was hoping to avoid involving Murdoch in what is to come. My appearance won't provide him with comfort, but it can provide him truth. Take me to him. To be continued. We actually skipped a whole room. But wow. I kind of get what she was saying, though. And I kind of think that perhaps the stone that she's referring to might be what is being mined, which is the gold, the silver, and other precious metals that are in the mines. My hypothesis has always been the quartz is what's resonating with the evil, or not with the evil, but with the negativity that is within Echo. And at that moment, I had changed my stance, and perhaps the quartz is resonating with what Dahlia is trying to say, which is what's coming from outer space, the light, the old light. But I guess it's not the quartz, even though there is a ginormous quartz cavern in the mines, Dahlia, which vibrates. But I suppose she would know more. This was a very long update. My throat kind of hurts. And I was also talking to somebody else before I started recording. So, like, my throat was already a little sore before I started recording. So I apologize if it's not as nice as I would hope, or as usual. But, like, yeah. Again, the end portion is something that I did not get in my first playthrough when I was, like, reading through it. I didn't find Dahlia. I actually did not think to bring Blithe with me to the basement to have that trigger the whole thing, and then to have Blithe become one of the partners that you can take around. I believe that you could also take her specifically to Miss Gretchen's office, Gretchen Burns being the mom, and she would, like, tear the whole place apart. But yeah. I mean, it kind of made sense that she, being one of the astronomy students, would know more or less about the room. I also think that if you don't get the number correctly, there is a fail state where something else happens, but I'm not going to go through that. You can go looking through that. I mean, you already know. You know one of the numbers, at least. But yeah. Anywho, so honestly, I was excited for this update because I like Murdoch. I identify more with Murdoch, even now, more so now. And it was nice to see. And the whole ending part was actually pretty cool, because if you don't find Dahlia, you end up getting another scene at the end before, like, the to be continued, where you see somebody walking towards the school. It doesn't say who it is, but, like, there probably is something else going on right now. And I'm assuming that having found Dahlia is going to change that encounter a little, at least. But anyways, so hopefully I'm doing something good. I'm not putting Murdoch on the bad route, I guess. Anyways, but yeah, so write down in the comments what you think, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play the Smoke Room yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, to which you have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it yourself. If you would like to support the Goodnight Fellowship, which is George's group, which encompasses the Smoke Room and was it called 13 Mile Hike? The one where you're telling stories, or where their other characters are telling stories and it's, basically horror based. I will be posting down a link for their subscribe star. And yeah, you get early access to builds of what they're doing. There's also another game that they're working on, which is pretty cool. From what I recall from what I had spoken to about George a whole long time ago, it's kind of like Slay the Spire, but with furry visual novel aspects to it. But yeah, if you know what Slay the Spire is, then you kind of know where it's going to. Like, gonna be sort of, but like with a visual novel aspect to it. Anywho, so yeah. Also, in case you want to support the channel, you can do so by going down into the other link in the description, which, in case you don't see the link already, it's there. In case you don't see it underneath the video on PC or I'm assuming mobile, it'll be there. If you're on the TV, like I actually can see some of you are, it probably doesn't show up. But like if you're on mobile or the TV, then it'll show up. If you happen to not be in the country that supports that, then that's fine. You could support me through Ko-fi. That's also linked down there. As well as Throne, in case, you want to do that too. There is also, I think I have a new link to like the little page where you can like ask questions. It's called Neospring. If you don't see it on the main page on where it says like links, I mean, it's on my Blue Sky, which should be linked on the main page. But yeah, you can ask me random questions. People are already doing that. They're asking me if I prefer pancakes, French toast, or waffles. They're asking me random questions, but like, yeah, if you feel bored and you want to bother me, you can do so like through there. I mean, if there's enough questions, maybe I'll do a video. I don't know. Anyways, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.